So, it's always funny when the ATF puts out some information and it turns out to be a complete shamble. Now, I personally believe that if a government agency is purposely lying to deceive the American people, it's pretty much treason. I mean, if we're being straight up here, and when an outfit like the ATF does it, it's just kind of odd. People already don't like you. So what is your goal? Is it to, get people to like you more by lying and giving them information that is simply not true so your image looks better? It just doesn't make that much sense. Anyways, we did a video on a airport executive who got shot in his own home for being a collector of guns. Now, if you didn't watch my previous video on it, I'll do like a quick breakdown of it. This guy was buying guns within the confines of the law, and he was doing private firearm transactions. Now, if you live in a state that is more pro-freedom than another one, you know that private firearm transactions are legal as long as the person you're selling it to tells you that they are not a prohibited person. There's no background check, there's no paperwork, there's none of that. So him doing these private firearm transactions, it wasn't illegal, but that's what they raided him for. And some of these guns he sold were found at crime scenes. Does he have control over that? If I sell you my old truck and you go and get into a drunk driving accident with it, is that my fault? Am I liable because I sold you that vehicle? Is that how we're operating as America now? The person who commits the crime is not the problem. It's the person who sold them a product that the person used to facilitate a crime. What kind of accountability is that? Anyways, why are we talking about this again? There's a new video that just came out about this raid, and it brings a lot of light to this subject as far as how these ATF raids go and their tactics behind it. Now, the video we showed before, I'm going to play again, but this is how many ATF agents showed up at this raid. I think it was 10 vehicles total. You need that many vehicles for a guy who has no criminal record and is in the public eye as far as a airport executive? This isn't a cartel member. This isn't a dude who's cutting people's heads off every day. This is a normal everyday guy, yet you go in there thinking that you're about to have a huge gunfight. Oh man, I am super interested in hearing what y'all would have done in this situation. So without context, I'm gonna play this, and if you have one of these doorbells and you see this, I imagine it's going to be dark in your house. What are your thoughts? I can already tell you that if I was this family's lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, but if I was, the first point that I would argue is that the police sign, the only thing that is telling someone in the house that it could be law enforcement, it could be, is never fully readable. You've got POL, then you've got it blurry. So, as a homeowner, what are you doing in this situation? Clearly, this is a no-knock warrant. Once again, I'm confused behind that. As the ATF, as a law enforcement agency, you should not want to do those nowadays, especially if it's a person who poses little to no risk to society. But nope, these guys go in with a no-knock warrant, they file up on this dude's front porch, and then they block the camera out. I gotta tell you, if I am in this situation, I am at the bare minimum grabbing a gun. Now, if these guys announce themselves, obviously it's a different story. If they have a warrant, they're coming in regardless of if you open the door or not for them. But was this whole situation really necessary? I mean, they're saying that he shot first. Who here has ever gotten a scam text? I sure as hell have. Before I started Delete Me, I got them all the time. In fact, I have one in front of me here. That's from a guy saying that he wants to pay me weekly to wrap my car, a known scam. They get your number from online listing sites. And if you don't have a service to opt you out of them and remove your information, it's just going to continue to happen, as well as all of your personal information for anybody to see. Quick story time. Before I used Delete Me, I had an individual show up to my place. He got my address off the internet. He jumped my gate, went down my driveway, which is about a half a mile long, and knocked on my front door. Now, I did not call the police in this situation because I believe you shouldn't unless it's absolutely necessary, but it didn't go well for him. And upon questioning him, he told me that he got my address off of a website online. That's why this service is so important. So, like I've said in the past, I have hired somebody personally to take all my personal information off of the internet. So I thought I didn't even need this service, but I just got my second report in. There's been 107 total data brokers that have had my info. For you, it's going to be a lot higher. Listings reviewed 5,018. Data brokers with your info, 44. Once again, if you've never used a service like this, your numbers are probably going to be quadrupled. So it's already super affordable, but they're giving you an additional 20% off when you use my link and code below the video. Go get your personal information taken off the internet. So this boils down to, did he know that it was the police? An argument could be made that he was being targeted by a group of people who were in full tactical gear. Sure, it may seem like an outlandish thing, but if somebody wants to do a robbery at a high level, why wouldn't they have stuff like this? Why wouldn't they be walking up in full tactical gear? Maybe night vision. What if they find out you're a person that keeps $2 million in cash in your house? Do you think they're going to come in and try to do it at a high level? Possibly. So there are so many scenarios here where this is not as simple as, oh, well, if you didn't see the POL on my shield within the 0.5 seconds that it was shown on your doorbell, then tough shit. I mean, I'm just trying to think of this in a logical manner. If you're law enforcement, if you're the ATF, wouldn't it make more sense to get on some kind of PA system and say, hey, dude, it's the ATF, come out with your hands up and it'll all be good. You guys can stand behind your armored vehicles, no big deal. Then if he doesn't come out, then you've got a different scenario. But you don't know now if he wasn't going to come out because you didn't try. You guys murdered a man that probably thought you guys were a gang of robbers. So I think this situation brings up a couple of good points. This guy did nothing illegal. In the government's eyes, he did, just by the sheer amount of firearms that he bought. As far as I know, there are no laws as far as how many firearms you can buy, especially in a pro-freedom state. So what does this mean for all of us? The ATF gets a wild hair up their ass and says, well, I think this guy has something illegal. Even though you're not causing problems in public, you're an upstanding citizen, you work a good job, they don't care. They want to essentially have the tactical games on your front lawn. They want to be SEAL Team 6 like they're hunting down Osama bin Laden when you simply are being an American and exercising your rights. They don't want to have a conversation with you. They don't want to say, hey, look, we have questions about this. Can you give us some clarity? Yeah, why don't you guys fuck off and one of my lawyers will call you? How does that sound? Is that enough clarity? I just don't get it. I mean, even for the ATF, don't you value your own lives? As shady as you guys are in a situation like this, you guys are taking on so much risk going at it like this instead of just giving them a phone call maybe. Hey dude, CATF, we're outside your house. You mind coming out? Throw a robe on, put your hands up. We want to do this the nice way. We have a warrant. We're coming in regardless. We'd rather do it the nice way. But no, instead you guys think you're a bunch of Navy SEALs and kill the guy.